Whether it's the Epstein files or Santa Claus, the names on the lists are never released. Society has come to the moral place where those who have done wrong are protected. Tax cheaters, offenders living amongst us, parliamentarians who have worked negatively with foreign governments. Everything is withheld in the false veil of privacy. Why is it that government wants to track the information of millions of average Canadians on their laptops, but won't go after those who go against one of the most basic social contracts of society? Pay your taxes. Here we have a solution in Bill C-230. In recent years, CRA has been waiving debts to government owing. Last year, the government waived the following debts: $4.7 billion in write-offs, $10.9 billion in forgiveness, $0.4 billion in remissions, and $2.6 billion in waivers, for a total of $18.4 billion. Write-offs and waivers for taxes owed are done in secret because of privacy provisions under the Income Tax Act. So while the CRA is pursuing small businesses and ordinary Canadians for minor amounts owing to government, it is writing off debts owing to government by corporate entities in record amount. Canadians deserve to know which corporations are benefiting from CRA's decision not to collect debts to government. The solution in C-230 is to create a public registry that would require Treasury Board to publish annually a list of corporate entities that have debts owing to governments, forgiven, written off, waived, if that amount exceeds $1 million. And $1 million is a lot of money. It's not forgetting to pay back a 20 or I'll get lunch next time. In 2023-2024, 11 companies received $1.2 billion in write-offs combined. The 11 companies account for nearly a quarter of the $4.9 billion in write-offs approved in fiscal year 2023-2024. But which are these companies? Right now, we don't know. But how would Canadians feel if they were publicly traded companies, posting profits or even record profits? What if Brookfield was one of those companies? Right now, we don't know. Why should big corporations get enormous debt write-offs when they target the little guy for significantly smaller amounts? I have from a constituent. They're claiming I owe them $126 from a payroll account more than 15 years ago. From another constituent. CRA has been holding up my return for months with no proper timetable for a return. And meanwhile, they've sent me off to collections, causing me not only a large amount of stress and anxiety, but also causing me serious financial strain in that I have had to take loans and pay bills to support payments which would have been covered by my return. I have another constituent who is being withheld money from his mother's death benefit due to CRA delays. He writes, I followed every instruction I was given, yet I received no communication for months. I assumed my file was being processed, only to learn that it had been discarded. It is incredibly discouraging. This does not reflect a system that serves the people. It feels like the opposite, and it is deeply concerning. Another account. Our mom passed away on February 28th, and her death was reported to CRA. A mistake was made, and they deposited OAS into her account 2 months after her death, and then sent us a letter telling us we had to pay it back. Our dad passed away on June 8th again. His death was reported to CRA, but we have been receiving checks in his name. Now we've received a letter from CRA saying they overpaid our dad's GIS for the period after our mom passed to when he passed away, and we owe them over $1,900. How is an agency so incompetent that several mistakes are made in a single estate? It's Conservatives who have always advocated for transparency in government departments and tax policies and procedures. Motion 43 in the 42nd Parliament was put forward by the member for Calgary-Crowfoot. A duty of care to the taxpayer. If you are found to be not owing, forgive the amount, but also pay for legal fees. Also, at our recent convention, this resolution was passed. A Conservative government shall introduce legislation requiring the forgiveness or writing off of any non-personal debt owed to the Government of Canada be publicly announced in the Canada Gazette. But why does this government like to collect swaths of information about ordinary Canadians to place moral decision-making into their own hands, but won't ever release the names of those who have violated one of the two basic tenets of our society? Pay your taxes. Pay your fair share to society. Pay your fair share so we can attempt to live in a functioning and compassionate society. But where else has this government not released the names? Foreign interference. The government refused to share which federal politicians wittingly cooperated with foreign interference. The former member of Parliament for University of Rosedale only said that this government takes foreign interference very, very seriously. The current Minister of Justice also defended this position. This is a report that outlines several activities collaborating with countries like China, including accepting money or favors from diplomats. The National Security Intelligence Committee was chaired by the current Defence Minister. Why don't they just release the names? The President of the Treasury Board concealed the scope of the federal job cuts from analysts, the Budget Office. At the Budget Office. The Budget Office on November 5th, 2025, asked federal managers for a breakdown of planned savings by program. But public servants and Canadians were left in the dark. What departments would be affected? How would this impact services? Just release the names on the list. The federal government may not want to release information for the benefit of Canadians, but they are eager to pass legislation to infringe upon the privacy and actions of ordinary Canadians. Bill C-8, an act respecting cybersecurity, states, Cabinet may prohibit a telecom service provider from using all products and services provided to a specified person if it believes on reasonable grounds that it is necessary to do so to secure the Canadian telecommunications system against any threat. And this order may be kept secret. No warrants are required. This was also attempted in C-2. Bill C-63 in the last Parliament proposed to increase the maximum sentence for hate speech, which carried a sentence of 5 years under the Criminal Code to life, which would place it amongst the most serious offences, such as manslaughter and aggravated sexual assault, which also carries life sentences. That could have effectively resulted in someone being sentenced to life for hate speech, while someone convicted of sexual assault of a minor can receive a maximum of only 14 years, and an individual found guilty of assault with a weapon a maximum of 10 years. This bill also proposed that anyone who breaks any other federal law motivated by hate be found guilty of a hate crime and subject to a maximum life sentence. But forego paying millions in taxes, no problem at all. When it comes to protecting their friends and political interests, this government has no problem withholding information or giving cover to their allies to do so. But when it comes to your privacy, your personal information, who you like, what you like, where you eat, where you shop, who you communicate with, they have no problem holding you to account and taking away your rights. Paying your fair share of tax is a basic tenet of Canadian society that allows for smooth functioning of our society. This is why C-230 should come to pass, so that Canadians can be made aware as to who is paying their fair share to society, and more importantly, why. But this government doesn't want you to know, maybe because of who is on the list. What pieces of Indigenous art is missing? What are the names of the Green Slush in the Green Slush Fund documents? Who approved a RICAN? We may never know. But this government has the opportunity in this moment to shed some light on society, to hold everyone to account to pay their fair share. Let's pass C-230 and work towards starting to achieve this. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur.